The village school sat between fields of golden wheat and endless rows of sugarcane, the kind of place where everyone knew every Enya, or at least thought they did. Among the laughter, chatter, and loud voices of the students, there was one girl who never quite fit in. Her name was Layla, a 16-year-old with soft brown eyes and hair that flowed like a curtain down her back. She was quiet, almost too quiet. She didn't join the laughter in the courtyard or the games in the field. Instead, she sat under the old neem tree, sketching in her notebook, often mistaken as shy, weak, or invisible. But what the students didn't know was that silence wasn't weakness, it was strength. Layla carried secrets deeper than anyone could guess. Unfortunately, in a world where loudness was mistaken for power, her silence made her a target. The so-called popular girls of the school, Nadia, Farah, and Sarah, couldn't resist mocking her. They were the daughters of laborers and workers, families who toiled long hours in the fields. Yet, they walked through school halls as if they owned the earth beneath their feet. "Why don't you ever talk, Layla?" Nadia sneered one afternoon, her friends cackling. "Oh wait, maybe you don't know how," another chimed in. "Look at her clothes, always plain, like she's still working in the fields." Layla lowered her gaze, her lips pressed into silence. She had learned that words often made things worse. But one day, their cruelty went too far. On a hot afternoon, after classes had ended, the bullies cornered Layla near the old storeroom. With cruel laughter, they pulled out scissors, so sharp, cold, unforgiving. Before she could run, before she could scream, they grabbed her and chopped away her long hair. The strands fell to the dusty floor, each lock a piece of her dignity stolen. Her tears didn't stop them. They laughed harder, snapping photos, mocking her. When they were done, they left her thoroughly broken, humiliated, and trembling. That night, Layla sat in front of the mirror, staring at her reflection. Her hair, once her shield, was gone. But as the tears burned her cheeks, something inside her shifted. A voice she had buried deep within whispered, "They don't know who you are." They don't. The very next week, whispers spread through the village. Land inspections had begun. Officials walking through fields, measuring boundaries, checking ownership records. Farmers worried, because land was everything. Without land, there was no food, no work, no future. And at the center of it all was Layla's family. For generations, her ancestors had owned vast stretches of farmland, fertile lands that fed not just their family, but dozens of others. But her father, a humble man, never flaunted their wealth. They lived simply, quietly, choosing to let others believe whatever they wished. Layla's silence at school, her plain clothes, her humble manner, it had all been a reflection of her family's values. They didn't need to shout to prove their worth. But now, the truth couldn't stay hidden. One morning, as the bullies' families gathered to discuss lease renewals, the head official announced, "All this land, every field you work in, now belongs to the Malik family, and their daughter, Layla Malik, is the rightful heir." The silence that followed was heavy, almost suffocating. The bullies' parents froze. Nadia, Farah, and Sarah stared as if struck by lightning. The quiet farm girl they mocked at a broken bar was the very owner of the soil their fathers plowed. When Layla walked into the room, heads turned. She no longer seemed invisible. She no longer looked weak. Her cropped hair framed her face like a crown of defiance. She stood tall, shoulders back, her gaze steady. "I don't want revenge," she said, her voice calm but unshakable. "What you did to me, it hurt. It broke me. But strength isn't about breaking others, it's about rising even when they try to push you down." Her words carried through the silence like thunder. Some lowered their heads in shame. The bullies' eyes filled with tears they didn't know how to stop. And though Layla forgave, she never forgot. Forgiveness was her power, but memory was her lesson. Know what you hold, but they will.